What's going on, you guys? So, the propaganda in the boxing community, the excessive pay-per-view numbers, and the fights that fans want to see is almost like pulling teeth. We're going to talk about a lot of these things tomorrow on a live show. But on this particular video, I wanted to just touch on a few things that's been going on in the boxing community. And it's starting to look like the rumors that we've been hearing starting to add up. Premier Boxing Champions has been excessively spamming pay-per-view fights on us. And it raises question as to why are you spamming pay-per-views on us for fights that should be on regular television, right? And there's a few guys in the boxing community that's been really vocal about how fans aren't being treated properly and how these guys are getting over on us and things of that nature, right? Most notably Fred from Barbershop Conversations. And like I said, when Fred do good work, I give him credit. When he do bad work, well, hey, I gotta let him know about it. But I think Fred Hawthorne may be on to something in regards to this whole PBC mess, right? Because for the past couple of weeks, he's been really going in on Al Haymon, PBC, and mostly the guys in the suits, for lack of better words, right? Saying that guys like Adrian Broner and Floyd Mayweather's owed money. The reason why they throwing these fights on pay-per-view is because, quite frankly, they don't got the money and the fans are going to be paying these fighters. Things of that nature, right? And I remember years ago, this guy, Leon Muhammad, I'm sure some of my boxing fans who's been around for quite a while know who that old guy is. And he's been really going against the grain on Al Haymon and PBC back when it was very unpopular to do. And he was one of the main guys that you'll see on video giving interviews, going against the grain on Al Haymon, telling people about Al Haymon. The thing about Al Haymon, though, is that we just don't know the guy. See, with Eddie Hearn and Bob Arum, Floyd Mayweather, Oscar De La Hoya, you know what you get with those guys. You see them, they be out in the public, they do interviews. You know what you're getting from those dudes. But with Al Haymon, all you hear is stories. We don't know how he sound. We don't know how his mannerisms is. We don't know what his intentions are. All we know is that he brought a lot of money to the sport of boxing back in 2013, 2014. You know, it was free fights on TV for everybody. And now all of a sudden, we got to pay for every fight we see. So it leads you to believe that the money that they once had may not quite be there. Then over the years, you've seen Adrian Broner going to his random rants, saying how he was looking elsewhere for work. And, you know, most recently he came out saying he's willing to fight on DAZN or whoever else. And we've seen Premier Boxing Champion fighters do these things in the past. And usually they get what they want in the end. But now it's looking like things is really drying up on that side. And I'm not one that's a pro top rank guy, pro PBC, DAZN. Those who know your boy Bushido know that I'm not really caught up into any of that, but I'm going to tell you guys how I see it. I'm going to tell you guys how I see it. And it really is looking like the Premier Boxing Champions may be on their last legs. You know, Floyd Mayweather and Leonard Ellerbe seem very irritated. And according to more guys who are more apt at the business aspect of boxing, I never claimed to be a boxing businessman. I don't know everything about the business of the boxing, but over the years, I had to educate myself on at least some of the business of boxing because a lot of the fans got involved with the business of boxing. So in order to even have conversations, you got to kind of know a little bit about it. And when these business guys like Fred come out and say these things, it's like, oh man, this shit really starting to add up. Everything is really starting to make sense. Of course, a lot of the fans are going to attack guys like that, you know, because at one point, Fred was all for PBC, pro PBC, there's that and the third. And now all of a sudden he's did a complete 180. Now it looks a certain type of way when it comes from a guy like him who used to be so pro PBC and then they gave him the boot. And now it looks like it's sour grapes on his end. But what if he's telling the truth? What if all these things is really true? And boxing fans don't want to listen because, well, Al Haymon and them, You know what I'm talking about. But we gonna go into depth about this stuff tomorrow. Of course, we're gonna talk about the propaganda that's going on in the boxing community, how guys are trying to spin the narrative with this whole Crawford requesting to be IBF mandatory. We're gonna talk about a lot of this stuff tomorrow morning. But yeah, man, it's looking really interesting. I mean, these guys are throwing these pay-per-views in our faces. Keith Thurman, Barrios, Luis Ortiz, Charles Martin. It's been a plethora of fights that's not even worthy enough to even be mentioned with the word pay-per-view. But instead, they still steady giving us these fights that we have to pay for. And it leaves one to believe that the money just isn't there anymore. Be sure to stop in tomorrow morning for the show. We're going to talk about it in more detail. Like, subscribe, holla at your boy. Peace out.